where do we even begin? Let's take a look at the comps right from the beginning and the way the teams got into the game, because you guys called it straight from the start. Strong solo laners for Giants. They can get ahead early, and they have a scaling comp on the side of Reason, but they didn't get to do anything in the early game. So let's first talk about that, because Giants did do a lot of things right at the beginning of the game.
I mean, yeah, they just had an early game comp with like Renekton and Elise. You have a lot of potential in the one-on-one. You can just dive. That's how you do it usually. You pick Renekton to just punish weak early game champions, and especially Rumble should like die like 10 times usually. And even in a lane swap, Renekton is good because he has an on-point stun, has mobility, Elise has mobility, and they kind of abuse the fact that they just have early game champions. And then I don't even know what happened in this game, but
well,
they
actually,
decided.
Yeah,
after it was the Baron fight, the turning point where...
Yeah, definitely the Baron fight was the turning point. Do we have a replay for that?
We do. Let's actually get that replay up on the screen, because I think it'll be much easier to explain everything else starting from there. There we go, Dexter.
So, Giants doesn't really know how to close out games and what their win conditions are, because you should never just group up when you play against the Jace and Rumble and do the Baron, simply because it's just too much AoE to handle. And Giants, I'm not sure if that was the right call to do the Baron. They should have played around with Vision more, because they have an Ahri, Elise, Renekton, and they just underestimated the damage probably. And then when we can just let the crit roll, then we just see how the Baron actually drops them fairly low. A really good Rumble ultimate.
Well, the Shock Blast is actually what does all the work here.
The Shock Blast coming on like 3 people, I think, too. We just have to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and
yeah,
we
the
see
flag
that
for to give some vision, and then the Shock Blast doing like a lot of damage there.
3 man.
Yeah, Corki Q. Corki really good position here to just do what he wants, and then the Rumble ultimate just to create zone and pressure. So there's not really much you can do on Giant side. They just have the better team composition and better positioning in that case.
Yeah, they do. But at this point, the Giants were actually several thousands of gold up ahead. They didn't even have to go for that Baron. So I would say they have individual skill, but that strategic decision-making just absolutely faltered there.
Well, I think that's just not understanding their win condition. I think both teams didn't understand their win condition, because Reason Gaming, they try to fight a lot of early game scraps when they have a team comp that needs to scale to basically around level 7 through 9. That's when they have their power spike, and they got behind early. And then Giants Gaming, they have a pick comp, so they want to control vision around Baron and pick somebody off and then go for the Baron. But instead, everybody was up from Reason Gaming, so they ended up losing that Baron fight. And I don't know, you can see in like a lot of the fights, even when Reason Gaming was behind, just because their team comp was so good, they were able to win. I think they even won versus 5 Dragons, which is not very common, but yeah, they ended up throwing it in the end. I think a lot of it came down to item builds, especially in the bottom fight. The Janna decided to get a Def Cap instead of a Mikhail's Crucible, so that their Corki, when he did get caught out by a stun, he ended up just getting popped. But if he had Mikhail's Crucible there, he could have cleansed that, and he would have been A-OK. And I don't know, just like really bad item builds across the board. Like the Jarvan, he won Hex Drinker instead of Locket when he's behind, which is just not really good. And he didn't get armor until like way late in the game. And he EQ'd in the whole team a bunch of times. Like, and the Sivir just railed him, killed him instantly, and just really poor itemization.
You were also mentioning the dragon and how we always focus and kind of tunnel on that 5th dragon, and that will win you the game, but it's not the case anymore in this patch. And we also seem to forget that if the team fights are already super close, even that 1st dragon can mean a lot more for the team that gets it in that late in the game. Yeah,
I think that people just underestimate kinda like what dragon does for them, and then at the same time they just have like, there's too much respect from the enemy team that even if you have 5 dragons but the superior team fight combos, like especially Rumble, Jarvan, you can still fight. The only thing that, I mean, the true damage is obviously the Baron is very strong, 150 damage over 3 seconds, and even with the Baron buff, but that should not stop you if you have like such a amazing team composition like Jace, Rumble, and Jarvan, and even Corki and Janna. This composition actually is like what you want to have in the team. It has like everything, and you should not be afraid even if you are down to like 7 or 8 dragons. I don't know how many dragons we had on this game, but yeah, you can definitely team fight against the dragon if you have the better team comp. It only gets like bad if the dragon is around the 30-minute mark, you have this tiny lead, and then it actually gets hard, because even when you're in a sieging position with a dragon buff, there's not much you can do, and it just puts you on a timer. But this timer is, like I said, it just gets negated by like team compositions pretty much.
And at this point we were so far off, or so late in the game rather, that the Reason had scaled up significantly. It is Giants that are able to close it out in the end. Adaptations to be made into the next game. I would say for Reason, the plan was there, but they can't afford to fall that far behind in the laning phase.
Yeah, and it was just luck pretty much that I think Giants misplayed very hard at the Baron. And if that Baron wouldn't have happened, we would have just probably see a pretty clean game from them.
Yeah,
and
I think they would have shut it out from the Baron, and they would have probably just got the dragon even if they didn't. If they didn't win off of that Baron, they would have just got the next dragon, and they would have had such a lead that.
5 dragon buffs. They had 4 dragons at this point, I think too, and they would just close out the game. But then the throw happened, and yeah, I mean probably just nerves. I mean, pretty much your job for the next 6 months is on the line here. I can understand that it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, you just have to be calm. Use the 1-0 advantage, go into the next game with the same mindset. Okay, we have our champions, we have our strategy, and then just play it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Need to keep their head in the game and see what they can do in the next game, both for Reason and for Giants. We need a breather after that one. This is a best of 5, so we'll be back right after this with Game 2, so don't go anywhere.